At the end of Second World War, European science was no longer powerful. But then, some of visionary scientists determined to creating a European atomic physics laboratory, with the hope that European scientists will unite and allow them to share the increasing cost of nuclear physics facilities. French physicist Louis de Broglie first proposed for the creation of a European laboratory in 9 December 1949. Further, Isidore Rabai, an American physicist and Nobel laureate, tabled a resolution for UNESCO to establish a regional research laboratories.
CERN, or European Organization for Nuclear Research, is a research organization established in 1954 and based in Geneva. CERN has 21 European member states, and Israel is the first non-European country which has granted a full membership.
CERN is celebrating its 60th birthday for this year. They organize public lectures, guided tours, and practical demonstrations and exhibitions at several countries. There are one question: why scientists are very enthusiastic when establishing CERN? What are their subject of study?
CERN actually originally concentrated on understanding the universe. What happened to the universe when it first created? What caused the universe creation? What particles involved in Big Bang? These are questions which scientists attempt to answer, and therefore CERN used several particle accelerators and detectors and provide infrastructure needed for high energy physics research.
The antiproton decelerator, the Large Hadron Collider, and CERN Neutrinos to Gran Sasso are among accelerators that help with many new discoveries. Carlo Rubbia and Simon van der Meer was awarded Nobel Prize in Physics in 1984 for the W and Z bosons discoveries. But there is another important invention happened in CERN.
So there is one important thing that we have to remember. We have to remember that the World Wide Web, widely used today, was born in CERN building. In 1989, Tim Berners-Lee, a British scientist at CERN, invented World Wide Web for automatic information sharing between scientists in university and institutes around the world. He is using a NEXT computer as host, and the very first website created by him described the basic features of web, how to access other people's documents, and how to set up your own server.
Soon we have students and educators segment. It is about interaction between students and educators. We offer three things, and I will emphasize on three things. There are educational programs, guided tours, and summer schools. Especially for students, we offer three things: student experiment, student work placement, and summer student program. At student experiment, we give general information on particular physics. So, if you want to have knowledge about particular physics, so come to us. Secondly, about what is student work placement. Here is the best place for spending university training period about physics and engineering course. Last but not least, student summer program. It's all about where the further internship opportunities come. So, if you want to further your studies on internship, so come to us. For kids, we have interactive games and puzzle. For kids, you can go to our website, CERNland. CERNland is where website kids can directly and doing interactive games and puzzle. We have simple questions about physics, such as what is work done formula.
First, we must look at the history of the establishment of CERN. CERN actually was established by EU nations, or we call European nations, at 1954. And at the early stage of the CERN research, a lot of investment money come from the European nations.
Here we can see the relationship between the European nation and the CERN. First, we can state that existence of the CERN actually because of the collaboration between EU nations. And the second one, we can say that a lot of research in CERN actually generated by the EU nation. So in terms of the business issue, they are come real issue because nowadays some EU nation practice a certain kind of the investment mechanism. They are trying to get as much out of budget they put in. I mean here, they want to gain a lot of benefit as much as they invest in CERN. So this practice worrying us. As we know, EU has power on CERN. So if this happens, then CERN actually derives away from the objective to serve the people around the world equally. So what I can conclude here is EU have a monopoly CERN based on their power. A lot of nations invested in CERN, and all the nations put together technology transfer back to the nation. So the question now, can CERN manage this issue as this nation is actually have a different in amount of the investment money. So are there any bias in transferring the interest among the members? So what I can see here, there are bias because we can see clearly which nation get better technology from CERN. Certainly, their biggest investor like European nations and the United States, and we can see it is injustice. What Asian and African region gain from CERN technology. Again, this fact show that CERN derives away from the objective to deliver technology to all the people around the world equally, as there happen bias and injustice in CERN.
CERN, language barrier, low contact staff, and professional management problem. You mean language barrier? When you work there, you will feel difficult to communicate each other because there are too many people in different culture, different language, and different country. Actually, their staff is actually low contact staff and people because they are too rude actually. I don't know whether you can survive. Okay? And the most thing you must know is that about the lack of professional management. I mean, there are bullying by section leader, and some supervisors violate the staff regulation and rules. So, are you sure you want to work there?
Behavior, etiquette, and principle are also different in CERN. CERN has to control the wide cross-cultural difference. Other than that, CERN seems have to take care a bit more on human rights at workplace.
Gender selection? Okay. Actually, they are biased when they try to choose their workers, staff, and technician and so on. Actually, they prefer to choose a male because male is perceived as someone who knowledgeable, who do any physical activities. This is because many activities, experiment requires physical strength. If you choose female, so this might be useless for them.
When we talk about globalization and how it's affecting the world, we have so much things to worry. You are actually giving an authority to an organization that you don't even really know. I mean, certain standard procedure are troubling all the other countries. Some are also biased when dividing their research and technologies. Can you even imagine that? How they divide the ownership of the research? Even their new safety regulation makes the situation even worse.
people, their procedure are based on the European countries. Then how are the other countries to cope with their procedure when the country itself has its own standard procedure? This is totally unacceptable. And how are they dividing the knowledge and technologies? Because as my research suggested, other than the first world country, all the other countries are still lacking these resources. They are still backtracked about 20 years, and they are still poor, such as the African countries, and even see for yourself. And their new safety regulations, do they even think about the cost of other countries have to bear to get all these safety gadgets and equipments? Obviously, this will bring bad effects for that country, because it will slow down the experiment, waste their country money, and last but not least, waste their time, which is completely unacceptable for this world of age.